All right, what's up, everyone? Today is day 4 of working on Nightly, and yesterday I put together this bottom center component for our nightly check-ins. I was thinking about calling it either the nightly check-in or the nightly update, but this is ultimately kind of this be real kind of function. So every day what's going to happen is at sundown you can do your nightly check-in, and so this is kind of going to be your be real style selfie. I was thinking about doing both the front and the back camera, kind of like be real, but I don't want to necessarily just steal another idea. But I think this kind of component would be perfect for the kind of media that we're going for here. And so between the hours of sundown and midnight you can do your nightly update. And then once it's midnight, you can still actually do your nightly update, but we'll put a little late tag on it. And so you'll be able to keep your streak. I'm going to add a little streak function too. And so you can keep your streak even if you post after midnight, but there's going to be a little late tag on it. And also, I think that would be really cool to see what people are doing if they're still doing their nightly update after midnight. It would be pretty cool to see what they're actually up to or something like that. So basically, this is how it's going to work. You have a countdown until it is sunset. When it is sunset, the app turns to dark mode and you can do your nightly check-in. And so you do kind of this meant to be authentic selfie for you and your friends, and some friends of friends can see it too. And then after midnight, you can still do your nightly check-in, but you'll see down here, once it changes to after midnight, it'll be flashing to have a little bit of a sense of urgency, like do it before sunrise hits. But you can also have a little late icon next to it and see if somebody's still posting after midnight, they might be doing something interesting. When it's sunrise, the app goes back to light mode and you can finally see that once again the countdown begins until the next time that you can do your nightly update. Anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. I am thinking about putting this into beta a little bit earlier than I expected. I might cut down on it so that it's really just the nightly check-ins for now, because I want to be able to see what is going on, how users use it, if I myself like doing the nightly update, because we haven't really tested this hypothesis yet. But rest assured, though, that I'm not going to just put this in beta, let people test it, and then just stop development. This will be put it on test flight so that people can use it, see what's going on, and keep continuously programming to be able to innovate on this and keep iterating until we have something that people like. My only slight concern with putting this into beta a little bit early would be that I don't want it to be an underwhelming app and then users use it for the first time and never come back. But I think if it's just like about 10 to 20 people who I really know, or the people who add me personally, those kinds of things, I think those people would be a little bit more willing to roll with a slightly undeveloped app, but be willing to give some user feedback. And that user feedback would be very, very helpful for being able to figure out the best route to take for the next steps, the next iterations of the app. And it'll give me also a moment to practice using my Apple Developer Pass and show me how to use test flight and how to push to the App Store. Because if I can put it into beta testing, there's going to be an app pre-check, because every app that goes through the App Store has to go through the App Store review, App Store check. And so being able to put it into beta puts it into kind of an early version of that App Store review, and it'll give a little bit more assurance on whether or not I'll be able to push this to the App Store and what checks I need to put on it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a different logo into this icon, and I'll be changing up how the tab bar looks, because that's just something I wanted to make sure I had a custom tab bar, but I haven't put too much effort into how it looks yet. I just kind of wanted to get the functionality there. And I'm going to figure out if I can do the camera part of this on my computer, or if I have to configure the app, put it on my phone, and then reconfigure it to be able to use the camera. And after that, I'm going to do a little bit of restyling and then refactor the data a little bit so that the way it's working locally is very similar to the way that it's going to work when I put the data onto Firestore. And then I'm going to have to add a slight content moderation feature because that is required on the App Store, but it's not going to be too intrusive or anything. Another point of putting this into beta early is that I'm not too sure how people are going to interact with this anonymous part of it. Is this going to be something that people like because it can help them meet new friends or connect more with people that are the friends of their friends that they might have already met but never actually connected with? That's the goal that I want, but I could also see some downsides where you don't know exactly who is seeing what your posts are. And if there's somebody who may have used to stalk you or somebody that you just have a bad relationship and they end up in your feed a lot, that might be uncomfortable. One quick note here, you will have the ability to block or restrict other users so that their posts don't end up in your feed and your posts don't end up in their feed. So if I put this out earlier and figure out those snags earlier, it's just going to be an easier process of figuring out what the problems are and being able to fix them. And I also need to add all the functionality for creating accounts and adding friends. I think it would be really cool if I'm adding somebody who is a friend of a friend that I haven't really met yet, or somebody that is a friend of a friend that I personally know but haven't really connected with yet, is when I add this person, it would be pretty cool if the mutual friend that we have in common could press a button on their phone to say something like, y'all would be good friends, or I endorse this friendship, something like that. And this isn't meant to be a dating app or anything like that, but I think it could be kind of a cool dating thing. Like if I were on Nightly, I saw a girl that was cute or something like that, and I'm friends with one of her friends, and I want to add this girl, so I click add. And since we have a mutual friend, that mutual friend can say something like, "Oh yeah, they'd be good friends." And just with the click of a button, it wouldn't be that hard. I endorse this friendship. They would be good friends, especially if it's a girl who that's her friend. Then if she says that yes, we'd be good friends, I think that would be pretty cool. Then you're in. And also that totally works the other way for girls trying to meet guys. Especially if you're a girl trying to meet a guy and you want to figure out if your friend thinks that you'd be a good match, then I think that would be pretty important. That's just kind of a side note. I think that would be something that's kind of fun. I personally don't really use social media apps as much for dating, but people do use them for dating. So I think I have to take that into account. But overall, I don't want those extra functions to get in the way of putting out this beta early and making sure that users like this. Anyways, that's about it for our day 4 update, and I will see y'all in the next video.